Tensions escalated outside an immigrant detention center in New Jersey as protests against the Trump administration's immigration crackdown continue to intensify. Demonstrators and federal agents have clashed repeatedly outside Delany Hall, where detainees are reportedly carrying out a hunger strike over the conditions inside the facility. What began as a protest over detention conditions has now turned into a tense standoff outside the Delany Hall Migrant Detention Center in New Jersey. For days, demonstrators have gathered outside the facility, accusing immigration authorities of mistreating detainees and also demanding their release. On Wednesday night, clashes once again broke out between protesters and ICE officers. Visuals from the scene showed officers pushing crowds back using chemical spray and batons to clear demonstrators from the entrance area. Several protesters were detained during the confrontation. At the center of the unrest is an ongoing hunger and labor strike reportedly involving hundreds of detainees inside Delany Hall. And those participating in the strike are demanding better food, improved ventilation, medical care, and faster progress on their immigration cases. However, the Department of Homeland Security has strongly denied allegations of poor conditions. The protests have also drawn political attention. Democratic leaders have criticized the Trump administration's aggressive deportation policies, calling them harsh and divisive.
Yeah, I think the stories that we've heard out of here are horrific and unfortunately consistent with what we've been hearing across the country, and ICE continues to blatantly lie about the conditions of all of these detention facilities.
Meanwhile, protesters say they plan to continue camping outside Delany Hall until all detainees are released as tensions remain high. Delany Hall has now become the latest flashpoint in America's increasingly heated immigration debate. Let's go back to our correspondent Susan Teherani. She is in New York. What's the latest from Newark?
Yeah, so two very conflicting accounts from the Department of Homeland Security and Democrats in Newark. Remember, Newark, New Jersey is home to Senator Cory Booker, who is a very vocal opponent of the president and his policies, notably on immigration. So this is happening in his home state, not only, but also in his home city as well. The DHS says that the reports of widespread hunger strike are being exaggerated. There are a handful of those detained at that facility who are calling for ethnic food. The DHS secretary yesterday at the cabinet meeting said that this is not a Holiday Inn. We are offering them calories. Completely different accounts from the Democrats and those who are outside of this facility, saying that these are not individuals that the president promised to get out of the country. There are many women in that facility. One woman allegedly is pregnant. She could not have access to an OBGYN, a gynecologist, and there are others who are suffering under immense heat and poor sanitary conditions. But this is, of course, very noteworthy and important because, protests like this sort of stopped across the United States after Kristi Noem was sort of sidelined or resigned or was ousted, however you would like to take it, and Mark Millen came in. This is the first time that we're seeing the issue of immigration once again in the headlines. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. Just very quickly, I know I'm going on, but Mark Millen just recently said that he is even planning on stopping immigration processing at Newark Airport, one of the busiest airports in the country, because of this difference they have regarding this detention center.
All right. Susan Teherani, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for the update. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you.